Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, happy Sunday. We're about to start a new week. Unfortunately, there are rumors that a big Swiss bank is about to collapse. So, let's talk about this and let's talk about all the turmoil that's happening around the world and why we have another reason to turn to Bitcoin. So let's get started. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com and make sure you check out my other channels as well. I just posted a video not too long ago on the I Am George channel. Digging has begun on my house. I'm quite excited about that. But anyways, getting back to Bitcoin and getting back to global markets, well, you can see Bitcoin is still kind of hanging around 19.2. Unfortunately, we get these like wild jumps out of nowhere, like this one that jumped past, Bitcoin's price jumped past 20,200, then came back, and we're kind of hovering where we were before. Unfortunately, we're still seeing a lot of fake outs, little mini fake outs like that. But we know that last Friday, U.S. market did not end well, minus 500. Actually, the whole month has been was bad, because now we're in October. So, yeah, it was down about 9%. Historically speaking, markets are bad in September. Historically speaking, they are good in October. And, hey, we're in October, so are we going to see some good stuff this month? I hope so. We need something because it's nonstop bad after bad after bad. I mean, look at what's happening, the devastation that happened in Florida over here. I didn't even talk about that. Of course, you got to talk about what Russia did and annexing 4 territories in Ukraine. How is NATO and the U.S. going to respond to that? Is Putin going to resort to nuclear options? Hopefully not, right? We got a lot of stuff, a lot of bad stuff that seems to be happening all at the same time. And of course, in the financial world, people are really starting to second guess the Fed and Fed Chair Powell and what he's doing. There are so many that believe that he is breaking things. He's breaking things, and he's following what the Fed has done previously. Yet, we're in a very different scenario. We had never, ever seen a scenario like the one we're going through right now, with high inflation artificially created by the war, by supply chain issues, and by all the printing, the unprecedented printing that has happened. So it's a weird time. But anyways, yeah, you guys know it's a weird, scary time right now. But it may get scarier because some of you guys remember what happened in 2008 when Bear Stearns seemed like they were going to collapse. They were going to become insolvent, and then Jim Cramer went on air. That's why I have him in a thumbnail saying, no, it's okay. Bear Stearns is fine. Don't worry about it. Don't withdraw. And then the next day they went under. That was probably the worst call of Jim Cramer's history, I would think. I don't know if there's been worse, but that was one of them that most people still point to. And that is what's happening with Credit Suisse right now. I believe that's how you say it. I've heard people pronounce it differently, but they're the giant bank, investment bank from Switzerland, and they're not looking so hot right now. There's so many analysts looking at them, looking at all the bad investments that they have made over the years, I should say. A lot of them has gone under, and you look at their stock price has been falling and falling and falling, tanking more than the financial crisis of 2009. So think about that, and not just them, Deutsche Bank too. And then you could see their share price went from $15 down to $4. Okay, their market cap is actually below, supposedly, their book value. That's how little faith investors have in this bank. And credit default swaps are nearing 2009 level. as more and more people are actually buying credit default swaps because they think Credit Suisse will go under and not be able to pay their liabilities. So, obviously, this is not good. And if they go under, are other banks going to get affected as well? Yes, because all these banks, they all like do business with each other, and they all have like, very, I don't know, their connections are all very tied together. That's why in 2008, when we had the last financial crisis, when Bear Stearns went under, then Lehman Brothers went under, and then everything went under. Everything was tied to those pesky credit default swaps and mortgage-backed securities that I was actually talked about in the video I posted yesterday, right? They're all tied together. And when one bank gets greedy, they all get greedy, and then they all go under at the same time. But unfortunately, many of them are deemed too big to fail, and they get bailed out by the government. So I don't know if that's going to happen in this case, but stuff like this is still happening. You figure with a bank that has been around for hundreds of years that they would be like the smartest. They would be filled with the smartest people that knows all about money, right? But I've been telling you guys, the more you learn about money, the more you realize it's just a big Ponzi scheme, and all these guys that run these banks, sometimes they just don't know any better either. They get greedy and they do stuff they shouldn't, and then they go under. And it's really that simple. And that's why it's best to just learn about money yourself, invest your own money so that you don't have to rely on others that God, who knows what they're doing with your money, right? And that is why, with all this stuff that's happening, this trust in banks, central banks, collapse in currencies, with what's happening with the euro, with the pound, with the yen, with the Canadian dollar, with every currency out there, right? You're starting to see it, and it's getting more and more scary. I mean, there's just so much fear out there, and that's why you're seeing actually people turn to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin trading volume hits a 3-month high as a lot of citizens around the world are banning their fiat. Like, why would you hold on to a currency that keeps losing its value? I mean, literally every country on earth is seeing their currency get devalued or debased versus the US dollar right now. Like, literally every single one. I challenge you guys to find one currency that is actually gaining on the US dollar versus what everyone else is doing, which is losing value. So yeah, but the alternative is, why would you want to put money into US dollar when everything, like I said, has everything that's going on right now, right? With the distrust in the Fed, what he's going to do, all this stuff. Some people are predicting that, like Robert Kiyosaki is predicting that in 4 months, that the US dollar will collapse just like the euro and just like everything else. So that's why you want to look at something better, something like Bitcoin, right? So Robert Kiyosaki said he loaded up not only on Bitcoin, but gold and silver. He may be on an extreme side of things. He has made some pretty damning calls, but the stats don't lie. You look at all this volume, Bitcoin trading volume has steadily risen, right? While altcoins are declining right now, okay? More strength is coming back to Bitcoin. You see Bitcoin's volume with the British pound is skyrocketing. I showed that with the euro the other day. So there are a lot more people turning to Bitcoin. Is right now, there's just so much uncertainty everywhere, right? And even though Bitcoin has its up and downs and volatility, right, short-term dips, we know that there will only be 21 million Bitcoin. Everything's set and governed by code. And no bank controls Bitcoin. No payment rail that's controlled by a bank is controlling Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin gives you personal freedom, gives you freedom to control your own assets, and it can't be inflated like what the banks and everyone else is doing. Well, you can't apply easing or tightening to it. Let's just put it that way. And that's why still so many people are turning to Bitcoin. Peter Brandt, he tweeted this recently saying that, you know, going back to 2008, he believes Bitcoin has a 50% chance to go to 100,000 or 250,000, wherever it may go, or 50% chance it goes to zero. But he still believes that it's a highly asymmetrical risk to reward or reward to risk trade. I believe there's a 0 chance that it's going to go to zero. And I believe there's a 100% chance it's going to go to 100,000 and beyond. All right. So I'm going to take some of that 50% of going to zero that he stated, and I'm just going to throw it into the first pile because there's a 100% chance it will go to 100,000. You just have to be patient about it. And there's 0 chance it goes to zero. So I agree and disagree. All right, what else is there? Bitcoin had the highest level of coins moving off exchanges over the last 3 months. That's fantastic. Of course, people are buying. It makes sense. The hodl waves indicate that 78% of the supply has not moved in the last 6 months. That's fantastic, and that's an all-time high, right? These are all fantastic things, metrics that show that Bitcoin is only getting stronger. Good. All right, outside of Bitcoin, 2 things that does not indicate that they are getting stronger. The first one is Solana. Solana, unfortunately, just had another network outage. It's so common now, people just kind of accept it. This is the reason why I'm less bullish on Solana. I know that it's still early, and maybe they can fix it, but no other network do we hear about this so often. Okay, maybe we heard about once with Polygon and I don't know, the other major chains, if they had maybe one outage in 2022. Solana has had like 8 outages this year. And unfortunately, when they get an outage, they have to just kind of reboot the network. They can't just fix it. They just have to tell every validator or node out there to kind of reboot. And I don't know what happened, but again, you know, this is just not a good look for Solana. It's just really not, especially when the founders have gone on record making fun of, say, Cardano, saying how slow they are and how they never get anything done. Yet Cardano has not suffered any network outages, yet, and Solana has suffered 8. Like, so do you really want to, you know, lash out at other projects when you got your own issues, right? So this is the problem with Solana, and they're finally up. They've been down for like 2 days since this tweet was September 30th, and then this tweet was October 1st, so yesterday. So it's like a full day, not 2 days, my mistake. 1 full day where it was basically down, and it's just not good. So hopefully they could pull through, because unfortunately it's so common now that we just kind of accept it, and we really shouldn't. Bitcoin's network has not been down for like 10 years. A lot of other networks have not been down for like 10 years, yet another outage for Solana is just like, okay, it's okay that it happened. You know, that shouldn't be. So hopefully they get that resolved. And also Coinbase is going through something. I don't know if this has been resolved. ACH transfers, you cannot deposit nor withdraw right now with ACH. I wonder if they use Credit Suisse as their banking partner that provides ACH. I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. But yeah, if you're using Coinbase, it's not. It's still down right now. It's still down. Oh, I know. This is old. Ideals under maintenance. ACH. Oh, incident has resolved. Okay, it did get resolved. It did get resolved. So it took them about 4 hours. Yeah, so okay, it's resolved, but still, being one of the biggest exchanges out there in the world, the biggest in the US, you don't want to see this happen. It just scares a whole bunch of people, right? All right, that is pretty much it. Looking at entire market cap today, down slightly, about 1%, right? September was really bad. We are getting into October. We're in autumn, and we're nearing the end of the year. So there's a lot of things to look forward to. So let's see what happens. All right, let's do some Q&A. James says this is off topic. 3 months ago, I told you FTX stole $600 from my BTC. You told me to start a ticket. I did many times. Sus. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. I don't know the exact story about how they stole $600. Maybe it's a accounting error, rounding error, or something. I don't know, but keep at it. All right. Let's see. Hopefully I'm not on mute. Nope. Switzerland is not part of European Union. No worries. Well, I guess that's one way to look at it, but there's no doubt other European banks are tied in some way, form, or manner to Credit Suisse. There's no doubt about it. They're one of the giant investment banks out there. Let's see here. Gary Gensler losing Americans millions by fighting XRP. Well, that is an accurate statement. Accurate statement. Solana has fundamental flaws in the blockchain. It's not fixable. I don't know. There are some people that claim that Solana cannot fix themselves. There are just inherent issues with their design. I'm not familiar enough with it, and I don't know if it's true, but hopefully they can fix it, because that would be very sad, because they're still one of the top L1s out there. And they're making connections with others. I hear they're going to partner up with Cosmos, and they're still trying to get more DeFi, running on top of them. So hopefully they could get it together. Why is FTX buying all these failed projects? I don't know. Sam Bankman-Fried is just like, he wants to be like BlackRock. I feel like he's just trying to take advantage of the situation. These are big names that people have heard of, and you're basically almost buying the name at this point. You're also buying the assets for penny ends on a dollar. I don't know if there's anything contractually that they have to reward or give back some of the assets to the users. Like, now that they bought Voyager, is SBF going to actually give people back their assets? Probably not, or give a very small portion of it. So there's still some benefit to buying these companies. If you want to put 10K now on one coin, that'll make you $1 million next bull run. It's too hard to make that call. 10x to $1 million, that's what? 100x? I don't know of any certainty that any project would do 100x in the next bull run. So your best bet is still to diversify. Let's see. He is part of BlackRock. He is. I mean, people don't realize BlackRock. Here's the thing, and we can't just use it against FTX only, but BlackRock owns a huge portion of FTX. But you know who else BlackRock owns a huge portion of? MicroStrategy. So I guess, to be fair, we can't just say, well, because FTX is tied to BlackRock. MicroStrategy's third largest shareholder is also BlackRock. So, interesting fact. Doesn't seem like it has swayed Michael Saylor at all. But Michael Saylor continues to buy up Bitcoin, although his last Bitcoin buy was so tiny. Very uncharacteristic of Michael to be buying such little amount of Bitcoin. Hopefully that changes. And hopefully he could buy spot on the spot market in the future. BlackRock owns large portions of everything directly or indirectly. I can't argue with that. I think that's true. How much of your current view on Solana is being influenced by a recent flood of SBF? Zero. Zero. My current view of Solana is based on all those outages they have. It has nothing to do with SBF's investment in Solana. That's past history. And I'm sure he made billions upon billions with Solana. But good for him. He propped it up when it needed to be propped up, and he got rewarded for it. But it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that it keeps going down. And for a network that has billions of liquidity and billions of tokens out there, it should not be going down that much that often. Like once in a year, okay, fine. Twice in a year, okay, you can accept that. But more than that, that's just too much. This is not like a test net scenario, right? If it was just a test net with no money involved, and we know how much people lose when these projects collapse or they get hacked or there's some vulnerability, something like that happens. You don't want to see that, happen more often. SBF is allegedly pushing for a national bit license. I've heard that. Could be true, could not be true. Bit license, I mean, it really depends. We know it's going to come eventually. It's just, do we want it now or later? And how strict is it going to be? We just don't know at this point. Michael Saylor also is basically calling for more regulations. A lot of people are. Kevin O'Leary is saying the same thing. Regulations could be good in terms of bringing more money into the space. But what's not good is it could hinder innovation and really hinder the decentralized process or decentralized nature of these projects and wallets and exchanges and stuff like that. Although centralized exchanges are not decentralized, but I'm talking about like DEXs, like Uniswaps of the world and stuff like that. Hopefully they don't get hindered because of those regulations. When you see Coinbase not letting people access their funds, it might be time to get out. Well, they're not stopping withdrawals. It just seems like they are having some kind of they had some ACA issues, and then they fixed it. But I don't know what happened there. Yeah, they even have one talking about Solana. Solana is currently facing network issues, but they had their own issues. I mean, this is why I'm pretty bearish on Coinbase now, because they're losing a ton to other exchanges in terms of users and volume. They're very scrutinized by the government, and they refuse to change, saying that we don't need to implement a zero-fee policy like Binance. You know, all these things combined, I'm not very pro on Coinbase anymore. I used to think they would never I guess I don't know what's the best way to put. They would always be on top in the US. I don't know if that's going to be true going forward. Pedro, I'm getting an extreme fear because of my stream. What did I say? What did I say to put you in extreme fear? Am I still ignoring H-bar? Yes, I am. Reggie Middleton's $350 million lawsuit against Coinbase. I didn't hear about that. I don't know what that's about. That seems wild. I got to look into that. All right, guys. I'll let you get back to your football. But overall, you know what? Hopefully, we don't have one more thing to worry about, and that is another major bank going under. Credit Suisse. Hopefully, they don't go under. Hopefully, there's no major repercussions because they don't go under, and that's one less thing we have to worry about, because there's too many already that's going on right now, and it's a really scary time. But like I said, I'm sticking with Bitcoin because I know Bitcoin will pull through, and Bitcoin is the only asset that is unaffected by all the other stuff that's going on right now, and it will only get stronger, and I'm sticking to it. All right, guys, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early, 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, so make sure you tune in. And in the meantime, go check out my other channels for some great content as well. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.